Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. Okay, we meet again in this video. So in this video, we continue on the part 2 of chapter 5, which is preemptive scheduling. The previous video, we already discussed about non-preemptive scheduling. Here we have first come, first serve, we have the priority, we have the SJF. So in this video, we learn about the preemptive scheduling. So let's look what is the preemptive scheduling first. So in preemptive scheduling, the processes are allocated for a short period. In non-preemptive, it already allocated to this PO and just wait to be processed. Okay. In the preemptive scheduling, the processes are allocated for a short period. So in this case, we can interrupt the process in between of the execution. So this type of schedule is flexible as each process in the ready queue get some time to run the CPU. So preemptive scheduling has overheads of the scheduling the processes. Okay, there is a cost associated with the preemptive scheduling, and in preemptive scheduling, if a process which has high priority arrive in the ready queue, then the process which has a low priority may starve. Okay, starvation. So this is the preemptive scheduling. So one example of the preemptive scheduling is the round robin algorithm. So also known as the RR, round robin. So each process get a small unit of CPU time. Meaning we have the time allocation in the CPU part, and usually around 10 to 100 milliseconds. So after this time has elapsed, so the process is preempted and added to the end of the ready queue. If there are n processes in the ready queue and the time quantum is q, then each process get 1 over n, okay, 1 over the processes of the CPU time in chunk of at most q time. Q time refer to the quantum time units at 1. So no process with more than n minus 1 times q units. So timer interrupts every quantum to schedule the next process. Okay, performance of the algorithm is based on q large equal to FIFO, first in, first out, and q small, q must be large with respect to the context switch, otherwise overheat is too high. So these are the performance based on q large and q small. So example of the round robin with time quantum equal to 4. Let's say we have 3 process, P1, P2, and P3. So P1 has 24 burst time, P2 3 burst time, and P3 3 burst time. So the current chart look like this. Okay, P1 0 until 4, and then it will run P2 4 until 7, and then it will run P3 7 until 10, and then it give a restart again to P1. It will run from 10 to 14, and then P1 again 14 to 18, P1 again 18 to 22, P1 again 22 26, 26 30. So based on the quantum time we have 4, so we run 4 4 4 4. Okay, at this part we only have 3 burst time, so just run 3 3, means that the maximum is 4. So typically higher average turnaround than the SJF, but better response. In SJF, the short go first. Okay, the short go first in SJF. But the other person need to wait until come their turn. But in this case, it give a better response to the processes. So Q should be large compared to the context switch, and Q usually 10 milliseconds to 100 milliseconds as mentioned in the previous slide. The context switch must lesser than 10 second. Okay, this one 10 millisecond. Okay, example here. Here we have process 1, process 2, process 3. The duration for process 1 is 3, order is 1, arrival time is 0. P2 we have 4, 2 and 0. P3 we have 3, 3 and 0. So in this example, the quantum is 1 unit. So we have P1 and then followed by P2 and then P3 and then P1 again. P2, P3, P1 again, P2, P3, P2. So P1 waiting time is equal to 4. P2 waiting time is equal to 6. And P3 waiting time is equal to 6. So the average waiting time is equal to 5.33. Okay, so based on this example, okay, in this example, the quantum time is equal to 4. Okay, for the next example here, the quantum is equal to 1 unit. Okay, that's why we have 1 for P1 and then P2, P3, and then it's come back P1. So 1 unit at a time. So the average waiting time here is 4 plus 6 plus 6. Okay, so P1, P2 and P3. So P1, here we have 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Finish process number 1. So we need 4 a time. For P2, okay, here we need to wait 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6 equal to 6 in order to complete the process for number 2. And for P3, okay, we have 1, 2 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 6 unit in order to complete the process for number 3. So total out we have 5.33. So this is example of the round robin with 3 processes and the quantum time is equal to 1 unit. Okay, for this part, okay, example violet rules for quantum size. Since most processes don't finish in one quantum. So this example show the violet rule of the quantum cipher. So we have four processes here, and then 0, 1, 2, 3 time 8, 4, 9 and 5. So the quantum time is equal to 4. If 4 means we need to 1, 4, and then after 4 you need to proceed with process number 2. Okay, process number 2, and number 2 equal to 4, and then after 4 time is processed with number 3. So number 3 supposedly 2 and not 4. Okay, because sorry 9. Okay, so process number 3 another 4, and then process number 4 5 4 time, and then complete process number 1 but not complete all the process. Okay, complete for P3, P4, P3. Okay, P3 is equal to 9. Okay, so this example of round robin with quantum 4 that violate the quantum size. So the next part is another round robin example. Okay, you can try by your own and then identify the Gantt chart. You can try to identify the Gantt chart based on this part. Okay, suppose time quantum is equal to 1 unit. P1, P2, and P3 never block. So for this part, okay, the order is 1, 2, 3. Duration 3, 4, and 3. So P1 start first. Quantum 1 unit. So 1 done, and then followed by P2, and then followed by P3. And for 1 again, P2, P3 until end. So you can identify the average waiting time for this example. Okay, 5.33. So time quantum and context switch time. Okay, we have this one. Quantum time is from around 10 to 100. For the example, we have process time from 0 to 10. So process time is equal to 10. So quantum is 12. Context switch is 0. For this point, from 0 to 10, we have quantum at 6 and switch context at 1. For this one, we have quantum 1. Okay, example here, 111. Switch context at 9. So this part is a turnaround time varies with the time quantum. So here is the average turnaround time. Here we have turnaround, we have throughput, we have waiting time at the previous slide before. Okay, P1, P2, P3, P4, and then these are the time. So 80% of CPU bursts should be shorter than the quantum. The next part is about the shortest remaining time, SRT. We have round robin, and then we have the shortest remaining time. So this is also known as the shortest remaining time first, or SRTF. So this one is the scheduling method that is preemptive version of the shortest job next scheduling. So in this algorithm, the process with the smallest amount of time remaining until completion is selected to execute. So based on the time remaining. So example here, we add the concept of varying arrival time and the preemption to the analysis. So we have process 1, 2, 3, and 4. Arrival time, we have 0, 1, 2, 3. Order. And then we have the burst time 8, 4, 9, and 5. So this is the SRT Gantt chart, shortest remaining time. Okay, so we have P1 here, arrival time at 0. Okay, and then P2, arrival time at 1. P3 is arrival time at 2. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So P1, and then followed by P2. Okay, after 1, then the remaining time is equal to 7. Okay, next is P2. Okay, P2 is 4. So we have 7, 4, 9, 5. Okay, that's why we go for the P2. So P2 is equal to 4. P2 again until 4. And then at here, we start with P4. P4 is equal to 5. P1 equal to 7. And P3 we have 9. Okay, so this is based on the remaining time. So average here, average waiting time here, 10 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 17 minus 1, minus 2 plus 5, and then minus 3. So total of it here, divide with 4 processes, then you will get 26 divided by 4 equal to 6.5 millisecond. So this part is based on the shortest remaining time. A preemptive SJF for the shortest remaining time first SRTF example. Okay. So we have SJF preemptive. We have 4 processes P1, P2, P3. Okay, burst time 7414. Okay. So based on this situation, then you can draw the Gantt chart. Okay, so start with P1 at 0. Okay, P1 until P2. So the remaining time here is equal to 5, 4 and 1. So we go for at 2, go for P2. Okay, at 4 here, P3, and then P2 again, P4 and P1. So average waiting time is 9 plus 1 plus 0 plus 2, and then divide by 4. So we have 12 plus, you divide by 4 equal to 3. So the average waiting time is equal to 3. Okay, next part for the SRT. Under the example, suppose we have the following 3 processes with process ID P1, P2, and P3. So they arrive into the CPU in the following manner. So P1, 0 millisecond, P2, 1 millisecond, and then P3, 4 millisecond. So the burst time for P1 is 8, the burst time for P2 is equal to 2, and the burst time for P3 is equal to 3. So at 0 millisecond, P1 is arrived. So we use P1 here. So at 1 millisecond, P2 is arrived. Okay, P2 is arrived. So P1 remaining is equal to 7, P3 equal to 3, P2 equal to 2. So at this time, P2, the remaining time is 1. So the shortest remaining time is equal to P2. So P2 again. Okay, done with the P2. Okay, next. Okay, next is at 3, right? So P3 only arrived at 4. So we continue with P1. So P1, 8 minus 2 equal to 6. Okay, P1. So at 4, 6 compared to 3, 3 is shortest. So we go for P3. Okay, at 5, P3 is shortest. Go with P3. Okay, P3 also the shortest one. So go for P3. And the remaining continue with the P1. So this is how it's work. Okay, next about the preemptive priority. So in preemptive priority scheduling, at the time of arrival, a process in the ready queue. So the process already at the ready. So each priority is compared with the priority of the other processes present in the ready queue, as well as with the one which is being executed by the CPU at the point of time. So it will compare the priority. The one with the highest priority among all the available processes will be given the CPU next, means will be executed by the CPU. So the difference between the preemptive priority scheduling and non-preemptive priority scheduling is, in the preemptive priority scheduling, the job which is being executed can be stopped at the arrival of a higher priority job. Mean if one job is being executed, okay, and then there is another job that's most priorities compared to the current one, so we can stop the process. Okay, let's say we have process 1 and process 2. So process 1 is running. Okay, at the same time, process 2 is already arrival time, and the priority of process 2 is higher compared to process 1, so we can stop the process 1 and continue and start the process number 2. So these are the difference between the preemptive priority scheduling and non-preemptive priority scheduling. Okay, example here. Okay, we have process 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So burst time 4, 10, 2, 20, and 2. And then we have the priority here because we use the priority algorithm. So we have 4, 2, 1, 3, and 5. Arrival time 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So at arrival time 0, we start with process number 1. Okay, you look at here, the priority is 1 is number 3, 2 is for process number 2, 3 is process number 4, 4 is for process number 1, and 5 is process number 5. So at arrival time 0, at arrival time 0, P1 is executed. Okay, until arrival time equal to 2. So okay, at arrival time equal to 2, so we have P2 here. So the priority is higher compared to the P1. Okay, so we continue with the P2. P2 until arrival time is 4. The higher priority is P3. So we need to start with the P3. Okay, until so on. So this is how they execute the processes based on the arrival time, the burst time, and the priority of each processes. So that's all. Okay, that's all for the scheduling for part 1, for chapter 1. So hopefully everyone able to understand how it's work, means from the round robin, from the SJF, from the SRT, the priority part. Okay, those are the algorithm that involve in scheduling, and you should also know how to differentiate between the preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling. So that's all for the part 1 of chapter 5. Thank you and assalamualaikum.